Well, the daffodils are out, the birds are singing, it must be spring. So, flying from Old Park Farm, the lambs are out in the field. Definitely time for a flight. Now the wind was from the north, right down our 3618 runway. But this runway is uphill, it's got a 3% gradient. It doesn't look it in the video, but it is a surprising uphill gradient. So, here's the direction to take off. The Andy Roberts kindly took the video of me taking off. Now as I lift off here, I know there's a dip in the runway and it launches me into the air to the right. My right wheel catches, straightens up again. So that was more exciting than I anticipated. But that was the highlight of the trip, so that wasn't too bad. So I turn away from the hills. The turbulence over the hills to the north there is, or can be, quite bad. So we're going to head up to Shobdon, and here's the trip. It's about 50 miles from Old Park up there. So passing here, there's Penny Van. I didn't want to go over it because the cloud base was almost up the top and the wind was coming from the north. There's danger of a rotor that could cause a downdraft as we went over. So although I was heading directly into the wind, you see we're getting a ground speed of about 71 miles per hour there, and the wind was about 15 miles an hour generally. The other day I'd gone round Penny Van. You can see the ground speed there was 120, although I was up steady indicated 80 miles an hour. As I went round Penny Van, it went from 120 miles per hour round the corner, still flying an airspeed of 80, but look at that, down to 48 miles per hour, a difference of 72 miles per hour. That was going to be a slow trip home, but it wasn't too bad. So passed over Talibont Reservoir and started to try and get down a bit low to get out of the wind. In the distance there you can see the Black Mountains. I'm going to head down the valley there past Talgarth on the way to Shobdon, trying to get out of the wind. Now there wasn't a whole lot to see because it's a pretty dull day, and here we are just coming on to joining right base for runway 08 at Shobdon. There was only one other aircraft and he was ahead of me, so there was no problem. Let's just speed it up a little bit. So here we are coming on to finals. Great big long runway that's been cut in half by the fence here. There is a danger you mustn't land before that. It acts like an arrestor wire going through the fence. So the wind is really from the left here, and it was throwing me around a fair old bit. So I should have gone for the grass runway really, but the novelty of landing on a hard runway is something different. Just holding it off, down, and then the wind pivoted me off to the left. So not the prettiest of landing, not the prettiest of takeoffs, so at least it was matching. Excuse me. So here we come down through the intersection and park on the grass at the visitor centre. There is very few people around. It's the Cherokee in front of me had come in. You see the windsock there, it's fluctuating around quite a lot. So I parked up, wasn't long, quick sandwich and off again. So here we are, taxiing out through, is it Bravo 1 there? Yeah, Bravo 1 to join 08. I do edit out little bits where I'm doing the checks and that, so it's not too boring for you. So again, crosswind taking off, was really kicking about a bit. Making sure nothing's coming down the approach, getting ready to line up, and as I go around the corner, aggressively feeding the power. I'd say go to full throttle the rudder becomes very effective, and I mean taking off almost before we get to the runway. There we are. Wind still having an effect there. Just hold it down, build up a bit of speed, and then climb away. Oh, I had the camera fixed at that point, so all you had was cloud. So there we are, heading back down the Wye Valley. There's Pen y Fan in the distance and the skyline. River Wye down there. Just beyond Hay-on-Wye at this point, and looking out towards Mid Wales over the wingtip there. So I went in front of Pen y Fan this time. The wind was coming up these hills, so that made it a whole lot safer. It's the downdraft behind the hills which are a bit dodgy, but the cloud, as you can see, was off the top of the hill, off top of Pen y Fan there. Still see a bit of frost on the northern side of the hill there, and then looking right down to the coast, down to Swansea Bay in the distance. But as you can see, it wasn't particularly turbulent, and there wasn't any frightening lift or anything around with the wind blowing up these hills. So we head down over Glen Neath, over the Regos, heading for the coast. Now it is amazing, there are only a couple of, there's Glen Neath down beneath us there. As you run down the coast here, even on a cloudy day like this, the visibility was really good, and at a couple of 1,000 feet, the distance you could see was fantastic. So here we are, we're almost, there's Port Talbot and right ahead of us, but to the right there, right in the distance, you could see the Preseli Hills right down in Pembrokeshire. That's a distance about 54 miles away. And then in front of us is Exmoor, which is 44 miles away across the water. And likewise, right round here, you've got the Mendip Hills you could see right over there. And again, they're about 44 miles away. So you're seeing a great big chunk of the country just from a couple of 1,000 feet. So over the last of the hills, heading down to the coast, going to join left base for runway 36, landing into the wind, which is a novelty at Old Park Farm. Here we are, calling out that I'm going to land 36, so just speed this up so we don't all die of boredom. Certainly sunnier back on the coast, over the M4 motorway, turn round, come into the wind. Now the windmill isn't turning there, just in the 1 o'clock position. That's just because they don't need electricity, they switch it off, so it's not always a good wind indicator. So here's the first lot of pylons down there. Just keeping a good eye on them, make sure I pass over the top of those. Solar farm. There we are, there's the first lot of lines gone. They're the particularly high ones, over 200 foot tall. There's another set, not quite so tall, but still would spoil your day if you're tangled with them. There's that pylon coming up. There's the airfield just on the nose now. Right, that's over the last pylon. No, can drop down. So, keeping it fairly steady. Was still a bit blustery today, as you can see, just getting knocked around a little bit there. Keep it coming all the way down. The runway extension is going to be finished soon, so that ground soil is going to be seeded again. And we'll have a few extra yards of runway. So landing was a whole lot more uneventful than the takeoff. And there we are. Back safely at the farm. Now all this area's been cut, you can just leave the runway anywhere to the left here. It makes it easier and quicker rather than having to go all the way to the top and then come down. And then just squeeze between the caravan and the hangar. That wing looks incredibly long from that particular angle, but Through we go. Spectators there. Chris and John, I think it was. Down between the hangars and park up. Yep, just a very pleasant flight. Wind, although strong, wasn't particularly turbulent, and it was a good day out in the middle of March. Take whatever you can get. And we come and park up. Just thank you so much for watching all the way to the end, and I'll catch you on the next one.